Hey everybody, and welcome back to more Soul Reaver 2, and I just woke up. And I've got some more sad news. My vacation from work has ended. And in celebration, if you could call it that, I'm going spectral. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like a little after 5 in the morning, and I'm doing commentary now because I fell asleep early last night. Oh god. And didn't get a chance to get this done yesterday, which would have been 4 videos in one day, which would be pretty good for me. I'm going spectral here because I already lost the Dark Reaver, so it doesn't really matter, and I hate the swimming in these games. Hopefully it's better in Defiance, but I can't promise that. So now cue the jump cuts. And I am so glad to find these various effects in my video editor. So that's where we need to go. But I needed to find a Dark Reaver font, which thankfully there's one right here. It's to the left and around these waterfalls from where we need to be. But we got it. It makes a better sound than the regular Reaver. And there are them ghostly sounds again. Oh yeah. So let's go ahead and move on into the Light Forge. There's a lot more combat in this section, which you will see. You dick. And a lot of these enemies burrow into the ground and run away from you. I'm thinking there's a set area that they're allowed to be in. And once they get past that area, they just burrow into the ground and respawn. You'll somewhat see that coming up. Thankfully, these guys will not be back when we come through here again, so no need to deal with them. I dealt with that one enemy out of spite. Yeah, screw you guys. I'm not sure why enemies are even in these temples. Jump and glide like a gazelle.
These murals left no room for doubt. These winged creatures were indeed the architects of the pillars. And while the images were difficult to decipher, the pillars appeared to banish or diminish their enemies somehow.
Well, there's some truth to that, but for now, stick it in the hole. Oh yeah. That's how Raziel likes it. And that makes a dark bridge, which is something we will do throughout this temple and the next. Much to my dismay, because there's a part in the next forge that I'm not looking forward to. For now, I'm not really worried about that. Damn you, Slua! I would have cut some of this, but it's not that long of a video. Screw you guys. Okay, I definitely should have cut some of this, but I'm not going to now. I do somewhat intend for these videos to be helpful, and this is how I do things. I just can't help with the swimming. You're on your own there. All right. And I believe in here there's a more powerful, bigger Slua, which I will not be engaging in combat. That might change later in the LP, but for this temple, I will not be doing that. There's another one of those fonts. We know what those do now. It should be obvious that's a light font. Right, so as I'm engaging in combat, let me just give you guys a little bit of a taste of what I'm going back to. And these are stories I told on my original playthrough of this game, so I figured I might as well tell them here. This would have been either 2012 or 13. This coworker of mine We used to have this cleaning lady that would come by. She was relatively young, decent looking, and I used to enjoy talking to her. And I remember her and I talking about weekend plans. Again, small talk, casual conversation. You know, I don't mind chatting up a cute lady. And this friend of mine came up with a ghetto sounding nickname for me. I'm obviously white, so I guess he thought it was funny. And again, stick this in the hole. And that ghetto nickname was the A Train. So after her and I get done talking and she leaves, I hear my friend say, "A Train, hitting on the cleaning lady." And that made me laugh. And this is just giving us an indication of what we're going to have to do. We need to light up both of those lights by reflecting light off of various, what I assume are mirrors. So that's going to be a good time. Yeah, we need to go spectral here. We are trying to open this door because we need to get through here in the physical realm. But another story I was reminded of looking back at that LP, and I remember this too. A current friend of mine, her and I used to email back and forth at work for probably 2 or 3 years, give or take. And for some reason we stopped doing it after that point, which is probably good. I don't really need personal stuff staying on work servers. Yeah, screw you guys. I am not dealing with you guys. And I think that guy that was chasing me there is one of those bigger slua. And here's something interesting. Do not move forward. Hey, free soul. Yummy. Nom 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 nom. Awesome. We're gonna get a moment that I think is pretty cool, and I might make a short video out of. You guys will know by the time this posts if I did that or not. But I was sitting at my desk, and my job is mind-numbingly boring. Probably more so back when this happened, which again would have been 2012 or 13. And I start thinking about stuff because there's nothing to occupy my mind. I'm not sure why I'm fighting these guys here. But whatever, I am. These guys actually aren't too bad. Other enemies later are going to be really annoying. So I'm just thinking of random stuff and I start imagining a hot blonde girl. I can't remember what she looks like now because obviously it's a girl I made up in my head at least 12 years ago at this point, maybe 13. And let's just say whatever it was I imagined. Thankfully, nobody at work needed me because let's just say I could not leave my desk for a while. And I told my friend that I emailed about this. And she created this whole story about me having this girl as a girlfriend and her and I going on a date and this and that, which I always thought was kind of funny. I had completely forgotten about that too until I watched that video back. Yeah, these are the enemies that can start to get annoying. They don't start to get annoying yet, if I remember correctly. I played all of this yesterday. And there's another one. Joy. So, I do apologize if some of these moments later on get disorienting, but I did want to save time on the video. Oh, maybe we'll see it here. No, maybe not. I wanted to save time on the video, so I will be cutting bits of these fights just to save time, just cutting to when I actually take the enemies out. Because it's in this area that those enemies start burrowing into the ground and disappearing and respawning, and it's annoying. Hey, a block puzzle. And I like that heavenly sound that plays in the soundtrack. It's pretty cool. And if I remember correctly, the light fonts make a similar sound. I've always liked the Light Reaver. It's a shame that the more you use the Reaver, the more the Reaver starts to want to eat your health. And that is no bueno. The key to these fights is to go after the dudes with the shields. Sometimes that's easier said than done. Yeah, I just want to get rid of the sword. Get rid of the sword. Thank you. It's also in this temple that the glide not working right screws me over a bit. You guys won't see that, but I'll tell you when it happened. Once you have this shield, enemies can't attack you, so they'll despawn. But it feels a little odd that enemies are in this temple. I guess Raziel does need health. There is a point when we're going to activate a dark font, and we will need to keep that Dark Reaver, so you can't go into the spectral realm. So I guess that's why enemies are there, but that can also risk them whittling your health down. And this is going to be the first of those situations I was talking about before. You'll see a little bit of it, and then I'm going to cut to whenever I actually kill these dudes. And at points, I just get pissed off and use the Reaver just to save myself some time. Dude, just die. If you see me taking out the Reaver, it's because I'm irritated. Sometimes it's fun to use the Reaver, but generally I want to save health. Yeah, these guys have projectiles and they burrow into the ground. So they're annoying little gits. So just turn this. We get a lot of turning in this temple. Or forge or whatever it is. And I really can't wait to talk about my theories about these temples. This is me not committing either way. I don't commit to fighting these dudes, which is good, but I also take swings at them anyways for no reason. I was hoping to get a cheeky kill, just for fun. We had to enter into the spectral realm anyways. And this is the part where my glide did not work twice. One time it was really bad because I was only one jump away from finishing this part. So we have an okay little platforming section here. I say okay because it's this game, so the platforming isn't great. Then again, I can't really speak to modern platforming, so I don't know how that works. Maybe it's better, maybe it's worse. I don't know. I've played a little bit of Stellar Blade, and I would not say that platforming is great either. Maybe platforming has never been great. I don't know. Jump and glide like a gazelle. Wait, I said that already. Damn it. Whatever. I think we come back here in the physical realm later. Yeah, not dealing with any of you. Sometimes this game can be annoying and they will give you no souls around portals. Thankfully, this is not one of those times. And I had got souls off screen when I was dealing with... Actually, that might have been one of those times. That's essentially an unintentional Scrubs reference. I got souls off screen when I was dealing with the glide not working. Screw you guys. And screw you. Yeah, that's what you get. I would have left you alone. I will admit the battle music is pretty cool. So we're about to meet a new enemy, which is a variant on something we've already met. These are Font Guardians. We will see them in the next temple as well. There are 4 temples or forges in this game. The 4th one is vastly different. The others are pretty similar and kind of build off of each other. And here's another Guardian. Again, I'm not sure why these enemies exist because you can't refill your health off of them, so I'm not sure why they're there. You're constantly losing health in this game, so you would think that they would want to give you enemies that can refill your health. That was the original idea in Blood Omen and Soul Reaver. But you can see there's a lot more combat and a lot more enemies that you need to deal with because we have to actually do stuff in here and you don't want enemies messing with you while you're doing it. Now, mind you, nothing that we're doing in here is that intensive. But still, you don't want to have enemies messing with you. Yeah, so I know there was a jump cut there again because of the combat. Just look for that block. It's the only block in this area. And I believe this is the part I was talking about before. Yeah, same area we came to in the Spectral Realm just a few minutes ago. Awesome. If I need it, I got it. I kind of wish enemies did not have projectiles. Given how clunky this combat is, and how blind I am, it just makes things annoying. Alright, motherfucker. You're gonna mess with me when I don't need you messing with me, so you had to die. And that's a good use of that weapon, too, because now we need the Reaver. Alright, everybody, don't fear the Reaver. No? Alright, whatever. Shove it in the hole. Oh, yeah. And make another dark bridge. I think this was a little easier for me to see this time around than in my original playthrough. You dick. You know what you're getting for that, don't you? Daddy's got to break out the belt. Or in this case, the Reaver. I probably should not have made that joke, but oh well. Chances are it's going in. Okay. Well, now that we're across there, we got another shield dude to take down. And I like using the Reaver on these dudes because you want to kill them quickly and get the shield so that you don't have to deal with all these other enemies. Yeah, so I have to actually start getting ready for work again. Probably as soon as I'm done recording this commentary. That's going to be awkward. But can't worry about that now. We've got light to move around. And now that we have the Dark Reaver, we can unlock these doors. So the most difficult aspects of this temple we've now completed, except one, which is interesting, but there's a way to deal with it. The biggest issue is sometimes this game's hit detection isn't great, but we'll get there in a moment. For now, we've got things to turn and doors to unlock. Awesome. It is nice to be doing something different rather than just block puzzles all the time. But like I said, I don't mind the occasional block puzzle. It's just having a million of them is annoying. Awesome. So we are back in that same room. This is like the main hub of this temple or forge. I think these are forges and I keep calling them temples for some reason. This little cunt irritated the hell out of me and was doing a lot of what I was talking about before. Digging into the ground, despawning. I showed this fight in its entirety because of this wonderful camera here. You saw it briefly. Look at that. Terrible camera placement. I know this is before games started to become more standardized, but I'm guessing either nobody play tested that or nobody cared. For some reason, I had a hard time getting Raziel to push this block. So it's still pushing blocks, but at least they make it look like it's something more than just a block, which I appreciate. Awesome. And the bulk of this forge is now done. However, we're not done yet. So we needed to do all that because we need the Dark Reaver to go down that hallway, and there was no way to get it down there before. But now that is not a problem. Screw you guys. Screw you guys. I kind of half-heartedly wanted to see if I could take one of them out. And here's going to be the cool moment. So run in here. Do not move too far. I go off to the side. That I will kill you, as we saw before. And it got one of those enemies already, which is good because I needed health in a bad way. And I get an idea in my head. And I'm going to mess with the weapon. See, it's weird. The target reticle shows up there, but not when I'm aiming at the eye. And boom! That was pretty cool. I'm happy that happened. Right, so this took me 3 tries. I'm going to show my first failed attempt at this, just to show you a way out of the situation if you have issues like I did. So you need to shoot that eye with the Dark Reaver. The game's hit detection is kind of wonky, so I try to go in, don't get it right away, jump out, because if you get sent to the Spectral Realm, you have to go through a lot of that again to get the Dark Reaver back. So that happened twice, but I jumped out of the way every time. Go in there, pick this up. You don't have much time. I probably could have given it more time than I did, but I did not want to take the chance. And now these enemies will not mess with you. That is a good design choice on the devs' part. It would have sucked if these enemies could mess with you while you're holding the shield. So I am happy they made that decision. See, I can compliment the game too. There are a lot of questionable decisions in these games, but that is a good one. I approve. What I have never been critical of is the music, which is pretty dope. Particularly in this area where it sounds kind of heavenly. Not stereotypical heavenly, but heavenly nonetheless. For some reason, my game freezes up sometimes. It happened in Soul Reaver 1 and now in this game. I hope it doesn't happen during a cutscene, because there's not much I can do about that. There are so few save points that I can't just reload and do it again. Thankfully, that doesn't happen. Awesome. Okay, now that sounds more stereotypical heavenly music. Or choir vocals or whatever. It's so majestic! Alright, well, let's go get our prize.
I plunged the Reaver into the forge and imbued the blade with the elemental power of light. Thus armed, I now had the means to re-enter the stronghold and finally use Mobius's time-streaming device to accomplish my own ends.
I have a lot of things to talk about and not much time to do it. Every time we pick up a Reaver enhancement, we increase our health. And this Light Reaver, when you have it equipped, I believe, keeps you from losing health. Kind of like the Reaver in the first game. Plus it gives off that nice light effect, which how dark this game can get is very nice. And Raziel is assuming a lot there. He's assuming he's going to be able to figure out how to use the time streaming device. Why this dude's showing up, I have no idea, but we got to take him out. And that goes into what I talked about before, where Raziel assumes a lot. Awesome. And there was something else I wanted to talk about, and I don't remember what it was. Epic. Whatever. We don't have much time left in the video anyways. It's fine. So this is what we will do with the Light Reaver, and I hear enemies spawning down there. I think it might be that Font Guardian for the Dark Reaver. It sounded like one anyways. They will respawn every now and again. We will deal with that when we get to the next forge. But that's what we can do with the Light Reaver, which is what we will have to do next video to progress. When the game is going to amp up its difficulty quite a bit and become more annoying. I don't love that they took this already bad combat system and made it worse by making the enemies more capable. If your moveset improved and you were more mobile while locked onto an enemy, then I could understand. But that's not what we get. So I'm not sure why the game does this, but it's a thing that happens throughout the game. And I got stuck down here forever because I didn't realize they closed that gate. You have to go back to that platform and flip that lever that we flipped in video 1 to open that gate again. Thankfully, I don't think we have to come back to this area again. We will come back to the area we're swimming to, but not this side of the lake, thankfully. And thankfully, we are at a save point, so I'm going to end the video here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time with more Soul Reaver.